This is Tank's Vlog, wrapping up the day in sports for September 23rd, 2017, a college football weekend. Before we go to the college football games, let's take a quick look at baseball. Brewers won a dramatic game in Milwaukee against the Cubs. Inch a little closer in the division, but most importantly, they're now just a game back of the Colorado Rockies for that second wildcard spot. That's the race to look out for right now. The hottest race in baseball is that National League wildcard race, where the Rockies, Brewers, and Cardinals are all separated by a game and a half. Meanwhile, the Arizona Diamondbacks are just one game away from clinching a playoff berth. In the American League, the New York Yankees today clinched a playoff berth with the wild card position. The Minnesota Twins, meanwhile, now have a 4.5 game lead on the Rangers, Royals, and Angels. Can you say the party is over? All those three teams are below 500. The only two teams, there's only 5 teams in the American League above 500, and those 5 teams are going to be your playoff teams. The Yankees today, now I don't understand this. They popped the champagne for clinching a playoff spot today. To me, that's almost like conceding the division to the Boston Red Sox. Now, shorter, 4 out, it's unlikely they're going to catch the Red Sox. But the Boston Red Sox clinched a couple days ago. They didn't pop champagne. The Boston Red Sox are waiting to clinch the division to pop the champagne. That's why I don't like, unless it's like you're one of the last teams in, I don't like popping the champagne if you still have a shot at the division. I don't get it. In baseball, I guess you pop champagne for everything. To me, popping champagne should be reserved for winning a playoff round, going to the World Series, winning the World Series. I don't know. I guess I'm old-fashioned. Now we'll take a look at college football today, where there was a couple of big upsets. The biggest upset today, of course, was TCU destroying the dreams of a Bedlam that will be for a playoff spot, as they just took down the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Mason Rudolph was a Heisman Trophy talked about all week after a big game in Pittsburgh. Well, 2 interceptions and a fumble, and all of a sudden, his Heisman candidacy is all but lost. And now TCU at 4-0, number 16, you could expect them to make a big jump in the bowls. I guess TCU went in there with an attitude that, hey, we're overlooked, and they showed it, and they made a statement going into Stillwater and winning 44-31. One team that wasn't part of an upset today, though, was Alabama, who showed why they're the number 1 team, just absolutely humiliating Vanderbilt. 59-0. Alabama scored 59 points, and this is in Nashville. And the Commodores only had 78 yards total offense. Both teams were undefeated going in. Vanderbilt had aspirations of an upset and left with their tail between the legs. Number 2, Boston College, they were shaky. They were tied 7-7 against a bad Boston College team, but exploded for 27 points in the fourth quarter to win 34-7. And Oklahoma, they smack talk. They had a big lead against Baylor, but they barely hung on at the end, 49-41. Meanwhile, number 4, Penn State, they were down. Iowa scored 2 touchdowns late to take the lead, but the Nittany Lions with Trace McSorley down the field, and on the last play of the game, scored the game-winning touchdown. Saving disaster for Penn State and James Franklin there. USC, another team, late charge there. They had to shake off a big challenge from California today. They won 30-20. They pulled it out at the end. Washington, big second half. Almost a repeat of the Pac-12 championship game last year. Close game at halftime, but the Huskies blew away the Buffaloes in the second half, 37-10. Meanwhile, Michigan, another team that was shaky, had to pull away late against Purdue, 28-10. Ohio State crushed UNLV, and Georgia humbled Mississippi State. Mississippi State, after a big win last week against LSU, was crushed today in another upset. NC State hung a loss on Florida State, who is now 0-2. Those are the top games today in college football. But now, as we get ready, we'll take a look at the 3 stars for today. And they were Darius Anderson of TCU, Eduardo Rodriguez of the Boston Red Sox, and Bryce Love of Stanford, who had 263 yards rushing against that velvety soft defense of UCLA. Today's birthday shout-out goes to me, Joe Green, who turned 71, and we take a look back 60 years ago at the last baseball game at Ebbets Field. It's hard to believe there's not been baseball at Ebbets Field in 60 years. Before we sign off, now we're going to take a look at some of Sunday's games in the league where they pay for play, sponsored by MyBookieAG. Here's my Sunday preview. I take the Ravens and Jaguars, and of course, if you want to look at it more in depth, look down below. In London, I see the Ravens beating the Jaguars. I see the Broncos shuffling off to Buffalo and getting a win there. I see the Panthers doing just enough to beat the Saints. Saints' defense is god-awful. Steelers, they're going to win that game easily in Chicago. The Bears are just a bad team. One of the best games of the day, I see Detroit getting the upset at home against the Falcons as the Falcons blow a lead in the fourth quarter. Colts are an underdog against the Browns. Don't buy it. Take the Colts and the points, and they're going to get the win. This is still the Cleveland Browns we're talking about, and I won't. Don't pick the Cleveland Browns on the road, please. Without a quarterback whatsoever to speak of, take the Buccaneers over the Vikings. I take the Patriots. That might be a big spread for the Patriots, but I just don't think the Texans have enough offense. In the game I'm going to be attending, take the Dolphins against the Jets. Take the Eagles against the Giants. Giants, that offensive line is just pathetic. They never win in Philadelphia. Giants are in big trouble. And Eric Flowers, pathetic. I see the Titans beating the Seahawks. I see the Packers beating the Bengals. I see the Chargers getting a win against the Chiefs. Cuckoo could chew. Cuckoo could chew. And then in the Sunday night game, I like the Raiders over the Redskins. So those are my picks. If you want more in-depth analysis, click the link below. That's our Sunday preview. And of course tomorrow, the NFL, that's what Sundays are for in the fall. Nothing is better. Good day.